I promise I will give you the keys to one full Bitcoin. That is coming right up. Very exciting stuff. I definitely want to thank Peter Dunworth and Michael Dunworth for making this possible, bringing this to my attention. Very exciting stuff. We're going to also get into the crypto news because we go through that each day. So we'll jump into that more, the Bitcoin news. Actually, I'm not really interested in crypto full stop. We do have Argentina president snagging the primaries. We've got former US presidents holding hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in crypto. A couple of very exciting things on the Ordinals network, bit of funding there. So just jumping over, this is the block. I'll bring up the block in a moment, but I thought you'd find this very interesting. Value overflow incident on this day in 2010, it was discovered that at block height, 74,638. It contained a transaction that created over 184 billion Bitcoin for 3 different addresses. So if you go onto timechaincalendar.com, that's going to come up for you. I think what you'll find very interesting is that the nodes rejected it and didn't make it happen. Right now we are at block height 803,167. It is 5:50 a.m. local time, August 15, 2023. It is probably Monday night for most people watching. So the supply, we are at 19.46 million, 92.65%, and the 21 million is out, 6.25 Bitcoin per block. The average block time is 9 minutes 33. 23rd of August, the difficulty adjustment looks like it'll go up nearly 5%. 391,087 unconfirmed transactions in the mempool here. The next halving is only 36,833 blocks away, estimated April 27 at this stage. Very exciting stuff. Real quick rip through the charts. Sitting at $1.22 trillion, little bit of red in the last 24 hours, but it's a very sideways market. Zooming in a little bit closer to Bitcoin, sideways in the last 24 hours, we did pump up, trying to break out, but as we've been talking about for a long time, we've just been consolidating more and more. It's just very much sideways action over the 90 days. Something has to happen, and something has to happen shortly. Ethereum, for those that are interested, 1842. Let us know if you want me to keep Ethereum and crypto in these daily Bitcoin news segments. Low of 1836, high of 1859. Same deal, it is down a little bit actually in the last 24 hours, but I dare say not by much, less than 1%. Nothing major within crypto. Banner bubbles, good representation. There's only crap pumping today, so be aware not to marry this nonsense here. I'm sure you want to get into these coins, that the private key, that is coming up. I promise it's not clickbait. We've got 2 articles to get through, and then I'll bring up and I'll give you those private keys. If you can unlock it, a whole Bitcoin is yours. It's actually freaking insane, to be honest. So just make sure my audio is working. It looks like it is. That this is possible. Like, I can't believe it. Like, this is actually crazy. Anyway, we're going to get into that very shortly. I just want to talk about pro-Bitcoin candidate Jiva Malay. That's why I didn't highlight it, but we'll go with Malay. Snags primary presidential elections in Argentina. Super cool. Super cool. I love this quote by Malay. The central bank is a scam, a mechanism by which politicians cheat the good people with inflationary tax. Regarding Bitcoin, he said that it represents the return of money to its original creator, the private sector. While having a favorable attitude towards the crypto, Malay has not advocated for Bitcoin's use as legal tender within Argentina, which, like similar to El Salvador. Instead, Malay has called for a dollarization of the economy, which is currently dealing with triple-digit rate of inflation. A lot of Bitcoiners are going to jump up in arms. Just use Bitcoin. You need to do what El Salvador does. The dollar fiat is trash. Understand, we guess all that. Slow and steady. The dollar is the worst out of everything. And then hopefully, if this guy gets in and he's aware of Bitcoin, they can add, 1 to 5% onto their treasury balance sheet. Would absolutely be amazing. They don't need to go balls to the walls like El Salvador did. But it would be good to see them start accepting it. Now, going over to the Orange Man. Mr. Trump, we haven't seen him for a while. Obviously, with his NFT series last year, he, I don't know. It's interesting. I can understand the hype of people wanting to buy them, and the reason why is because he's such a controversial figure. Like, it's Trump. To have one of his NFTs for that point in history when crypto and NFTs are so new, it is a historical trading card. In a way, are they going to have any value? Maybe, maybe not. Sentimental for sure for some people. Whether you're for or against them, it doesn't really matter. It's just a stage within history that may or may not be interesting to some people. What I find interesting, though, is we've got the Argentina presidential hopeful talking about Bitcoin. Donald Trump's been so opposed to crypto and Bitcoin, but then launches an NFT series last year. We'll just read a couple of things I highlighted. Trump, who is running for the Oval Office again in 24, has been a long-standing crypto skeptic. However, he released a collection of NFT cards last year featuring images of him, which sold out. Now, straight after this, I'll give you the keys. Hold on there, hold on tight. First one to get them. If you can unlock it, it's all yours. So in April, he released a second series of these cards, which also sold out, but momentum for the cards cooled off. Filing showed he had made between $500 and $1 million from this deal. All right, one thing before I give you these keys, because this is huge, amazing technology. Obviously, Bitcoin, this is the time chain. It's the largest proof of work. It's the only quote unquote crypto, and I know Bitcoin's not crypto, but it's the only one that really matters. I urge everyone, if you don't get these keys and work out how to unlock it, at least get off zero. Definitely not financial advice. Before we do that, last thing, I've had some amazing videos come up, and where I found out about this one Bitcoin, this private key, was from Peter Dunworth. That video will be dropping later this week, maybe early next week. But then I've got a video with Greg Foss coming out, which I recorded last Friday, and Jason Mayer, the author of A Progressive's Case for Bitcoin. Those videos are such high quality. You can see Brian Dumont, Luke Mickett, Rob from Wright, Jake Woodhouse, Haley Lennon, Natalie Brunel, Jarrett, all these legends from Bitcoin, the best and the brightest minds. We've got these interviews coming up. So hit subscribe, check those out. The podcast, the full videos are where it's at. But today, right now, we're going to get into this private key. JJ, g'day, Sean. Been a while since I've had a chance to catch you live. Hope you're well, brother. Such a pleasure to have you here, JJ. First one to be able to grab these keys and try unlock this Bitcoin wallet. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely insane. And what's happened is there's this article in Bitcoin magazine. Bitcoin is time traveling energy. Spending Bitcoin into the future transfers incredible amounts of energy over time as the amounts of energy per Satoshi increase. Couple of things here, and then the keys are all yours. Our time chain is Bitcoin, and our energy rewards a new Bitcoin introduced to the protocol mined by electricity. Commonly refer to this as proof of work because that's quite literally what it is. No tech jargon, nothing more fancy than what it sounds like. You die, you lose 10K. Gee, that's proof of work. You step in a puddle, your socks are soaked. Proof of work. Right now, Bitcoin is the most direct representation of proof of work that humanity has ever been capable of experiencing. Now, if you go through this article, and we're going to zoom down slowly, there's a lot of charts, there's a lot of information here. They go in about the block reward, 50, started off at 50 per block, and then every 210,000 blocks it winds down 50% to zero to the year 2140. And that's what you need to keep in mind here. 2140, that's when this block subsidy ends. Basically, we don't know exactly when within 2140, but pretty close too, because of how mathematically precise it is. So what's happened, and I'll give you the keys. This article is absolutely amazing. A shout out to Michael Dunworth, who is Peter Dunworth's brother, who's made all this possible. And we'll get to the exciting part. That meme, ouch. Anyway, this article, it's really in depth. I have linked it below, but here we go. A HODL address. So there's private key. Now, within this article, you have those public keys, the private keys, just there. My brain had a fart for a moment. Let me zoom in. There they are for you on screen, because you never want to post your private keys. There you go. It's all yours. There's one Bitcoin right there. There's a private key for it, and first person to unlock it, it's all yours, which is insane. There's a whole Bitcoin sitting there on it, and I'm gonna have to say there's a little bit of a caveat to this, and maybe read the article to understand why someone's going to post the private keys to a Bitcoin. It's not a joke. That's very serious. But what they've done in this situation is actually send this Bitcoin into the year 2140. Michael Dunworth, a whole Bitcoin, which is 29,000. Let's get it exact right now. $29,309 worth of fiat has sent a Bitcoin into the future and posted the private keys there for whoever has access to be able to unlock it and get to it. That's absolutely insane. So it's there. If you can work out how to unlock, there's a proper name for it. So this address was created using a private key and locks the funds to be redeemable after block 7,140,000. So this is a reward for anyone around at that time that block arrives. It's only a reward if they're able to access this. It's only a reward if they're able to access this, though. 50 million Satoshis. The private key is, it's crazy. That's absolutely crazy to be able to send that into the future. If you can unlock this beforehand, there's a whole Bitcoin sitting there. You've got the private keys, so that's up to you. We will jump over here because there's a lot of work happening now on the Bitcoin network. Some people like it, other people don't like it because it feels like an attack vector on Bitcoin, and probably somewhere in the middle. I think probably slow and steady before we just roll things out and see if they're going to break. But the Bitcoin Frontier Fund launches an accelerator program for the ordinal startup. Just really quickly, I've said it a couple of times, but that article is below. Read through it. It's absolutely fantastic in regards to claiming those Bitcoin, or that Bitcoin there. Anyway, the program will provide seed money mentoring and support to approved applicants. Sounds to me like a degen NFT Web3 on Bitcoin money to be made, venture capitalists, but it is what it is. So the Bitcoin, what the fuck? The Bitcoin Frontier Fund is offering seed money to startups innovating in the ordinal space, along with access to funding pipelines and mentorships. If you got triggered by me saying the word fuck, I say fuck when I get really excited. So have a beautiful fucking day, and hopefully that doesn't trigger you too fucking much. Anyway, let's keep going. This video is totally getting banned, but anyway, it's 6:03 in the morning, so let's keep going. We offer $100,000 in investment in a badass program and community to take your startup to the next level in exchange for 2 to 3% equity in common shares. Pretty interesting. This is what happens with Web3, with crypto in general. You get the VCs come in before they get an equity stake, and then it gets released out. The project pumps, and then that 2 to 3% is dumped on you guys. You're left holding the bag. That's why crypto is flawed. So in that regard, we probably don't want this coming to Bitcoin. It is what it is. If you did get triggered by me saying that word multiple times, my apologies. I said it because I'm excited and it's incredibly early here in the morning. Anyway, I don't think ultimately it's good or bad. There are going to be good and there's going to be bad things that come out of this for sure. So those who have startups with no substantial funding will be required to sign over a 3% equity share in order to receive the funds. Fair enough, early stage startup. Those who have already secured funding in the amount of 600K or more within the previous 6 months will only need to sign over a 2% share. Yeah, still a lot to dump on the community, and especially with Bitcoiners, they're gonna get excited. There's a little bit, probably Bitcoiners actually, I rephrase, Bitcoiners probably aren't gonna care, but it's gonna be all the degens from Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain that come over and play with this, and that's good. Pay the fees. It's all good. It's number go up technology, so do whatever you need to do. Bitcoin ordinals are made up of Satoshis, the smallest digital asset on the Bitcoin blockchain. They can be inscribed with up to 4 megabytes of data. This makes it possible to embed text and images in each ordinal. Ethereum creator Vitalik Buterin, who recently said ordinals have revived builder culture on Bitcoin. Controversial figure, Vitalik Buterin, that is for sure. And I wonder if he's a bot or a psyop now. I know he didn't start off to be, but Ethereum has gone very, very decentralized. Be aware of that. Many other members of the community, however, and this is the Bitcoin community, have expressed concerns over what's been perceived as a civil war between those who believe ordinals are harmful to the Bitcoin network and its spirit, and those who see it as an innovative evolution of existing technology. As I said, I believe the truth is somewhere in the middle. Either way, it is going to just be TikTok, next block. Bitcoin just keeps being Bitcoin. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. That is not going to change, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to buy an inscription, an ordinal, be my guest. Some of them are going to do really well. Your money, your choice. It's a free world, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever it is, being on the Bitcoin network, it's better than being on any other network anyway. And yes, I'm biased, but there is reasons for that, and that's because of the proof of work mechanism that has gone into Bitcoin. So it's the future. Ethereum's just a research and development fund for Bitcoin at the end of the day. So let them do it. We'll see what happens. Crazy, 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 crazy world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think about this. A Chinese man is sentenced to 9 months in prison for buying $13,000 in USDT. Ouch. And it gets really wild, and pay attention to this. China has harshly enforced its crypto ban since the start of the year. So he's only been identified as Mr. Chen. He's been convicted on charges of offensive concealment and concealment of crime for purchasing 94,988 Chinese yuan, $13,067 worth of tether for an acquaintance. It gets way worse. Mr. Chen was contacted by Mr. Lin, which is his acquaintance, around Feb 2022 to post his bank card details on social media app WeChat. And remember that, WeChat. Mr. Chen subsequently received 7 fiat yuan transfers from Mr. Lin, which Mr. Chen used to purchase USDT. The stablecoins were then sent back to Mr. Lin. Through the process, Mr. Chen earned a total commission of 147.1 yuan, $20.26. He made $20.26 profit, and he's now been sentenced to 9 months in jail because he said yes to receiving money on an app that is heavily monitored and heavily controlled. That's absolutely scary, very, very terrifying. So that's very full on, absolutely full on. And this is what the prosecutor stated. Con artists use virtual currency to transfer and launder stolen money. This kind of online money laundering in the name of purchasing virtual currency, knowing that others use the information network to commit crimes and provide assistance to them, has violated the law. Just really quickly on that, the United States dollar is better than the yuan, so USDT is probably a little bit easier to get than the US dollar if you are in China. Probably just trying to hold a slower depreciating asset, if that makes sense. Anyway, it's really sad. Subsequently, Mr. Chen sentenced to 9 months in prison, deferred for a period of 1 year, along with a fine of 5,000 yuan, so $689. 9 months in prison, $689 for a $20 profit. Really feel sorry for this guy. It's good to keep in mind, though. Good morning, Nick. Nick, just tuning in. I've just given away the keys to a whole Bitcoin, so rewind and check those out, mate. But to be able to, like, this is happening in China, and we understand the way their government is, and we're not political on this channel. But for that to happen there means it can happen anywhere. In Australia, we're seeing capital controls on crypto already. $10,000 a month maximum. That's only $120,000 a year that you can move from your bank into crypto. That's absolutely insane and ludicrous. I understand for a lot of people that seems like a lot of money, but if you've worked your whole life, your savings, your super, whatever it is, your pension plan, and you want to be able to get out of that currency that's inflating away, and you want to get into a hard asset, say like Bitcoin, and you can only do $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year, that can be very scary. And then you go to jail if you try to do any more. This crackdown, it appears to be in a broad scope and not specific to crime deterrence. In July, the $1.5 billion multi-chain protocol was shut down, and this is pretty interesting. Since then, users' bridged assets as well as enterprise funds have been mysteriously swapped into privacy coins and stablecoins and bridged out of the protocol. No explanation has been given to why. Where do you reckon? Where do you reckon they went? Privacy coins, stablecoins, who do you reckon they went through to? Now, Decrypt. This is, we sort of touched on this one yesterday, but former SEC attorney John Reed Stark believes the SEC will not approve a Bitcoin spot ETF application due to concerns of market manipulation and concentration in the Bitcoin markets. Washington-based non-profit Better Markets has also urged the SEC to reject a proposed rule change for a Bitcoin ETF. Stark predicts that a Republican-led administration after the 2024 presidential election may take a friendlier stance on crypto and make it easier to get approval for a spot ETF. My belief is that it'll still get approved probably early next year, though, and we're going to see this play out. It's going to be up and down, flip and flop, back and forth. In the meantime, hit subscribe. I will keep you updated. You have a very beautiful day. It's time to catch the sunrise. Hit us up on Twitter. I will send you a video or a photo as that happens at Sean Clark 911. We'll see you on the podcast. We'll see you on the news. Be blessed. Peace.